Hey there. Um, I just spent the weekend. Well, my husband and I just spent the weekend with my best friend and her new man, I guess. We've known her for 20 years, and the whole time we knew her, she was married to a different man. And when they split up here a few years ago, she met Riley, which is this new man, and he is a hunter. And I've never really been around hunters, and I've eaten meat that was hunted, like moose and deer, elk, but not to the extent that I'd have it for a meal. And that's what we had. She served us moose roast on Saturday night, and I have to say, I've never really been into hunting. I was raised by a cattle rancher who he didn't mind hunting things like geese, prairie chicken, ducks, but he always told my sister and myself that he preferred to shoot big game with a camera, not a gun. So, I kind of grew up with that whole mentality that it's just a game for people. They just go out and hunt for fun. I didn't actually see it as a whole lifestyle. And that kind of brings me into paganism, because the original pagans, they hunted, you know, um, they ate meat, and they needed meat to survive. And actually, that's not only pagans, like my great grandparents came here in 1900 from the Ukraine, and if they hadn't farmed and hunted during the winter, they wouldn't have survived the winters here in Canada. We can't live on vegetation. There's no way we can. And my dad always instilled that in us, like we were proud cattle ranchers. Like we raised our animals, and the meat on our plate, we knew them. We went out every day. Well, my sister and I, when we were younger, we went out every day and played with them. We walked among the herd. But I never really thought about hunting. So I don't know. Like, it was so cool to have that roast moose. I'd never had that before. Like I'd been at work, and I'm in northern Alberta. There's a lot of hunters. There's a lot of hunting families up here. So I'd be at work, and they'd bring in, like, let's say moose sausage or deer sausage or something to try, or deer jerky or whatever. And you try it, but you never really had a meal out of it. And that was the first time that I ever sat down around a table and had a family meal. And to listen to how they spent an entire season tracking this moose, before they finally were able to shoot it. They thought they weren't going to get a moose this season. And it was like the last possible moment. They were about to leave the forest just before elk or moose season was done. And they just Sharon just happened to look down the cut line, and there was a bull moose. And, just hearing the story of Riley and his friend, like running down the cut line because the moose had gone back into the forest, running down the cut line and using a makeshift moose call to try and bring him back. And Sharon was saying, like, she stayed back at the quad with another one of their buddies. And they thought that this moose was gone. And she was telling me, like, Riley was out there and calling the moose, like pretending to be a cow moose. And she said after probably about 10-15 minutes, she could hear this loud, thundering sound coming through the forest to their side. And she thought it was a bear coming at them, and that these guys are like 100 yards down the cut line, and it's this bull moose coming back out to find the cow. And then, like this, its horns hitting the branches of the trees, and it was just just listening to the story, it was awesome, you know, and just to know that they were out there and face to face, you know, like if he had missed shooting this bull, it could have killed him, you know, like it's not just being raised in like the cattle being raised in a pen, you know, commercial cattle especially, you know, being raised in these crowded, overcrowded pens where the animal has no choice, you know, it's being herded off to slaughter. But to have, I don't know, there was something special about that. And I don't know, like I really want to give it a shot. I never ever thought I would want to hunt. But my husband and I, we have our FAC, which here in Canada is our firearms acquisition certificates, and we're in the process of buying guns right now. But for us, all this time, it was just going to be fun, you know, for fun, target practice. But now, you know, I'm thinking I might want to try this. I'm going to go with Sharon and Riley next season. Darren says he's never really had the desire to hunt. But I don't know, I think I might want to come along. You know, and I understand probably going to get a lot of flack from vegetarians and all that with a video like this. And, you know, come at me, I don't care. You know, I really have a hard time with this I don't eat anything with a face mentality that militant vegetarians seem to have. I'm a gardener, and to me, a stalk of corn has a face to me, you know, like flowers have faces. Every living thing has a face. It's not just animals or sentient animals. We don't know for sure whether plants feel things or not. There are studies out there that seem to lean towards the possibility that, yeah, they might feel something. We just don't have proper ways of detecting whether they can or not. You know, it's the same thing with the paranormal community, you know, like every day there are strides being made to prove that spirits and ghosts do exist, which is rejected by mainstream science because there's not enough known. There's not enough evidence out there, like not enough research done, like not the right type of equipment, you know, like scientists aren't building equipment geared towards finding the evidence for ghosts, you know. Are they doing the same thing for animal life? You know, I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't know, like if you're a gardener, like a wholehearted gardener, and you grow your own vegetables, and you can, and you pickle, and you dig in the dirt, and you love that plant, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I think that's what we're missing in our world, is the connection to our food. We need that personal connection to whatever it is we're eating. Our food, no matter whether it is vegetable, plant, animal, whatever, we need to have a personal connection with it. And that's what's missing. It's not necessarily that we're eating sentient beings or not. We need that personal relationship with it. And, you know, I grew up on a farm, like I said. I raised and gutted chickens at the earliest age. You know, we gutted our own pigs. We butchered our own cows. Well, not cows, we actually butchered steers, but same concept. Same animal. I got right in there. I know what it feels like. I grew up with the animals, you know, like my sister and I, we would lay out in the barns with the calves, you know, until the point where they were too dangerous to be around and Dad wouldn't let us play in there. We grew up with them. We felt their heartbeats. We held beating hearts in our hands until they died. To me, that's a personal connection with your food. There's so much waste in this society, and that really, really makes me sad. Amanda did a video. What the heck is your screen name? Whispering Clover, I think. And she was talking about her and her husband hunt, and the connection where you don't waste anything that's in your fridge because you faced it as it was dying. You held it in your hands. You don't want it to go to waste, leftovers or not. You make sure nothing goes into that garbage. And it's the same. It's the same when you raise animals as well. But when you're buying them from the store, are you consciously feeding yourself for the right reasons? Are you truly appreciating that animal or that plant for the life it gave up for you? I know we do.